welcome to action from North versus South in Bloemfontein, and another round of the Dragon Interprovincial Northern Championships here at the Inland Motocross Championships. A big field of over 300 riders coming out to participate in arguably the biggest motocross event in the Southern Hemisphere. North versus South is proudly brought to you by all our associate sponsors.
Hi, welcome to BRC.
Big welcome as always, and the Free State have gone all out to ensure that once again North versus South will be the biggest motocross event in the Southern Hemisphere in 2022. Over 300 riders have come from all around the country to participate, and looking forward to a big battle out on the dirty stuff, and the track has been prepped to perfection by this incredible team at BORC. The Dragon Energy Northern Interprovincial Championship forms part and parcel of the North versus South, but the biggest competition will come in that North versus South Championship. It's basically all of the competing provinces in South Africa coming together and going to battle against each other. Gauteng are the current champions and are looking to retain this championship and take on the best of the rest here at BORC. We've come from all around the country, and we've come from all the circuits around the country, and you can see some final preparations now being done just before they get out onto the racetrack. And if you did forget something, don't forget the race shop are in the house. Some a lot more calmer than others, looking forward to the battle, and lots of support on the sideline as motorsport has opened up once again to crowds and spectators from all around the country. They've come from all around the country to be part and parcel of this incredible event. R2R are here as well, and the RTR team have a massive contingent looking to go to battle here today. Expect big competition from Gauteng, coming from Natal and from the Western Cape. They all try to take on the best of the best here in South Africa at North versus South. The Spear Whole Shot officials will be looking to try and get that Whole Shot award to all of the riders looking for that Whole Shot today. Final bit of watering, and this track, as I said, is an absolute perfect condition as we get ready to go now for 50cc seniors. In the gates and ready to go, heading down towards turn 1. Let's see who's going to have what it takes to get the whole shot. As they head down towards turn 1, you can see this big field of riders heading down into the battle zone for the first time. It's a slightly shortened version of the circuit for the 50cc's, and you can see the wetness is going to catch a couple of riders out, and it really does. Oh, a couple of riders getting out of shape there as they came through that wet patch through turn 2, and it was a big maneuver going through there. The whole shot, by the looks of things, going to Ryan Martin or Cooper Harvey. One of the two of them coming through there rapidly as they now get into the battle. And it's a battle not only between the teams, but between the rivals that would normally be raging at a Northern Provincial Interprovincial Championship here, courtesy of Dragon Energy. And of course the Mayfair Gearbox Inland Championship, part and parcel here too. This time out though, it's not Mayfair Gearbox Inland, it's North versus South. So you can see the different riders out there in their, representing their provinces in the jerseys that they've been made for each of those provinces. Big fight at the front end, you can see starting to come through. Ross McKenzie starting to make his way to the front, but Ryan Martin and Cooper Harvey starting to get away ever so slightly from Mika Hendrickse. A big fight on between the three of them. You see Liam Kobler into the mix as well as they get into the thick of this first 50cc pro race. Senior riders, just slightly older riders in the 50cc category, and you can see also just taking a little bit of strain on these small wheels on the big track. The big track runs almost concurrently here with the smaller circuit, and you can see a couple of guys getting caught up there ever so slightly. Lots of support on the sideline, and of course with the 50cc's there's lots of marshals on the sideline to assist the riders who could possibly go down like that. Oh, big crash, and unfortunately looks like being caught out there. The 21 Quade Walker had nowhere to go as the rider in front of him went down, and they're getting caught out there now with the big lines that have started to form and the big ruts that have formed in those lines. Parker Chick also getting caught out there ever so slightly, just turning on the wrong part of that turn and just getting caught in the rut that was on the inside of that turn. Big move on here as well for the front end. You can see some maneuvering happening through the field too. Look out for Kellen Wild and Chait Daniels at the back of the field. They're also having a little bit of a fight of their own. But out front, looks like Ross McKenzie starting to open up a bit of a margin. The 10 bike in there as well, looking good, looking for an opportunity to try and be at the front end. You can see just how hard they are pushing, but it's not going to be easy for the front end of the field. Now that they're into the traffic becomes a huge factor here in 50cc's. You've got riders that are fighting hard for the wins and for overalls, and you've got riders fighting in the mid-pack, and riders still going down, battling with that little wet patch in the middle of turn 2. Going through there and managed to get back up and riding. Jaden Lawson was one of the riders that went down there. Looks like Wild has gone down too. So Kellen Wild making a mistake there, dropped him right to the back of the pack. Now fighting at the front end here big time. 18 is Ryan Martin. He's pushing hard. You see he's trying to get to the front if he can, but he's got some pressure coming from Cooper Harvey and Mika Hendrickse, Ulrich Sturley and Aidan Fisher. Ross McKenzie just behind them. The 1 lap board is out, so there's 1 lap to go now for our riders at the front end. He's going to have what it takes to stay upright and hopefully take this first victory. The first victory is the important one. As they come through, you can see Ross McKenzie and Aidan Fisher still fighting very hard, but that is Ryan Martin looking for the victory. Can he get across the line before anybody else? Looks like he might be able to hang on. Ryan Martin's going to keep it all together there, just ahead of Cooper Harvey. Mika Hendrickse has kept Harvey very, very honest. Nice recovery there from Tokaczyk as well. That last lap forward out, and you can see even the rest of the pack are happy about that. They're going to be extremely happy about getting to the end of this race and hopefully finishing things up. McKenzie is going well. He's now closed things down. Oh, problems right in the closing stages there for Mason Barnes. He pulls to the sideline, so it's not quite worked out according to plan there for Mason Barnes. And Tokaczyk also starting to come through, but too little too late as the flag comes out, and it's Ryan Martin who takes the first victory here. An amazing run there from him. He wins out over Cooper Harvey and Mika Hendrickse. Liam Krobler down in 4th place and Ulrich Sturley making up the top 5. There is confirmation though of that overall points. The overall points eventually going to go to Ross McKenzie. He wins out over Parker Chick and Alistair Maycock. And Kamani 2 comes through there for 4th place, beating out Ryan Martin and Reese Wenzel with Aidan Fisher just behind them. 50cc juniors now in the gates. Logan de Bruin is possibly the man to look out for here in this one with Richard Smith, Bjorn Roots. For Aiden Pretorius and Henry Jacobs, they'll be pushing hard to get to the front end. As the gates drop, this are our junior riders, the slightly younger 50cc riders, and already 2 guys coming together out the gates. That's not good. Travis Hart was one of them. I think the other one might have been Rock Walker. And those 2 unfortunately coming together in the gates there. And again, just not getting onto the track at all. You can see with the slightly younger riders, they're going to find it a little bit more difficult to try and negotiate the circuit. Take nothing away from the riding at the front end. There's going to be a huge battle, as always, with our 50cc junior riders. Out front looks like things have started up well for Bjorn Rutz. He seems to be controlling things, and you can see from the sideline a little bit of advice from the dad saying stay out of the wet patches, try not to get into those patches because it will be costly for you. And that's exactly what these riders are doing, trying to stay out of the wet patches. Logan de Bruin starting to come through. Watch out for the 17 of Henry Jacobs, he's in there as well. Slowly but surely making his way to the front end, and it's a 5-way battle here. Even though there's a bit of a gap, they're giving each other a little bit of space there because there's a lot of roost on the track from this very well-prepped circuit. We saw Julian Ferguson coming through there as well. He's just come up onto the back end of those top 6, looking to possibly still get into that fight for the top 5 overall. Championship points are up for grabs here. Remember, points between North versus South are vital today. You don't want to be missing out on any of those. That could be exceptionally important by the end of the day's racing. John Ritz, though, is having a fantastic day in the saddle so far, and he seems to be leading things out, but he's being closed down very quickly there by Logan de Bruin. De Bruin could potentially score the day there for Bjorn Ritz. Richard Smith in the house as well on the number 44. Going down. Oh, Wild goes down there. That's Nate Wild. Just saw his brother go down earlier on in the 50cc Pros, and getting helped out there from the KwaZulu-Natal sideline men. 307 with some problems. Ian Swanepoel, he's at the pocket on the sideline. Watch out in the background. There, Richard Smith on 44, slowly but surely making his way to the front. Going past one of the back markers there, that was Travis Hart. We saw him crash out right in the early stages, and in fact out the gates. He was man down as he came together with 2 riders in the gates. Roots is closing, and so is Smith. So the fight is on here for the top 3. Looks like issues there again for Nate Wild. Oh, he's having a tough time. He really is. At the moment, it's Roots. Roots hangs on from Richard Smith. Richard Smith closing him down. Going to try and get ahead there and possibly spoil the day here for Roots in this championship battle. You can see both of those riders coming out of the same team, looking for opportunities to score huge points here for Gauteng. Coming through in the late stages there, 275, Aiden Pretorius. Oh, going down though. Looks like that might be 307, Ian Swanepoel, when he's in the mud. Stuck in the mud with a bit of assistance from the outside. Always important to get that. Logan De Bruin, though, is on the move. And De Bruin has caught onto the back end of Smith. He's also caught onto the back end there of Roots and could potentially spoil their day. So what's going to happen here with that last lap board coming out? Small riders on the sideline battling out there with conditions. You can see the 50cc's with these small wheels are going to take huge strain. Not easy to ride in these conditions. As I said, this track is prepped perfectly for big motocross wheels. Not so good for the little ones. Take a little bit of strain. Riley Gelderhuys slowly but surely making some big maneuvers to the front end, up into the top 10. But across the line, and first across the line, looks like it's going to be Bjorn Roots. So Roots taking the heat there. But having a look at the overall, it's Logan De Bruin who wins out overall over Bjorn Roots by 4 points. Riley Gelderhuys tied there for second. Mason Visser, Richard Smith, Chance Scheppel, and Josh Zion Nordier finishing up in the top 7. Join us after break for more action from North versus South.